Episode 116, interview with Drew Reinartz, content creator, etc.
Hey, I'm Nate, and you're listening to the Visionary Variety Podcast.
And this is Daniel. In this episode, we're going to be interviewing our friend Drew Reinartz. He's a content creator, an actor. He has a YouTube channel. He was in a boy band. He does social media, and he has a beard. So strap on your seatbelts and let's get to it. Welcome to the Visionary Variety Podcast, where we cover cool stuff like photo, video, film, books, and technology. So switch on your brain and enjoy the show. So Drew, thank you so much for joining us on this episode.
Thank you for having me, man.
Nate, Drew is here because of you. So tell us how y'all met. What's the connection here?
Well, we kind of met just through the media department at our church. We just kind of worked alongside each other, and I was just like, hey, man, what's up? The rest is history. So, yeah.
The media department, also known as the Nerd Ministry.
Pretty much.
Yes.
Pretty
Yes,
much.
exactly.
So, Drew, tell me about yourself.
Ooh, that's always a fun question to ask somebody if they don't really know themselves. Geez, man. Who am I? I am Drew, and I have, y'all, as we were talking about before the show, I mean, we were saying that some people are just kind of a jack of all trades, and my life has just kind of taken me through random, I guess, loopholes and timelines. And
Oh, wow. Are you a time traveler?
I sometimes wish I think, I not wish, I think I know I was, but
That's confusing.
very confusing. That's what this whole is going to think about. But about myself, I started off doing my own thing, doing a YouTube channel, which has led me to do photography and video, which had led me to now also do social media and content creation for companies and also for the church that Nate and I work at. But a little bit about what I actually have done. I do acting, was on a television series called The Wannabe Starring Savvy, which premiered in Australia, even in the States on Stars Kids and Family, HBO in, HBO Family in South America. And yeah, I mean, I've done that, which I started off as a dancer, which led me to singing, which led me to acting, which led me to play the guitar.
How life does that.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane how life just you start coming across these things that my mother's always told me, if you're good at one thing, be good at everything, which I wish I actually listened to what she had said then. But as far as dancing, it became that. I mean, with the tapping and ballet, modern, all those things. I mean, that's kind of what led all into that. So it's kind of one of those things where it's just like, who am I? What am I actually supposed to be doing in life?
So many things.
Yeah, I think it's just with all of that, in a nutshell, I became a content creator because I learned so much through being an entertainer and being a talent, I guess you could say, and kind of knowing what makes people clap their hands and give them people joy and want them to smile and appreciate what talent can be.
Well, Drew, where are you from?
I am from San Antonio, Texas. I spent a lot of my time in Monterrey, Mexico, and also in LA. So, but I mean, originally born and raised a San Antonian.
Yeah, my wife was born here too.
Oh,
cool. We finally got a local San Antonio.
Yeah, San Antonian.
Fun fact, we were talking a couple weeks ago, and we found out we lived on basically the same street growing up.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we literally lived, I guess, walking distance as kids. It was probably like a 15-minute walk, but driving was about a half a second. So
at 70 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Super weird. Because I started listing things off, and he's like, wait a minute. And I was like, wait a minute, what? And he was like, this? And I was like, no. And he showed me where he lived. And I'm like, bro, like, that's like...
Literally pulled up like Google Maps and everything. Like, no, you didn't right there? Yeah, that playground. Yeah, I used to get beat up in that area. So, like, it was just one of those things.
I got hit with the skateboard over here.
I used to beat up some little kid there. Oh, wait, that was you. Oops. Have y'all ever revisited your childhood houses?
Yes.
Yes. My mom still currently lives at my childhood house.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's changed over the years, obviously, but it's still kind of cool to go over there and kind of find peace. So
he worked one other place, and I thought he looked super familiar when I officially met him in the church media and found out that we worked in the same area. I was like, dude, what the heck?
Man,
Stop following me.
what's up with that? Well, Drew, before we get into some more personal stuff with the interview, I have some kind of funny, random questions that I'm going to ask you, and I think it'll be interesting to see what your responses will be to these. So
Definitely
we'll be grading, so don't mess up. No pressure. All right. First question of this very prestigious professional interview is: who would win in a fight, Superman or Thor?
Ooh, I say Superman.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I am a Marvel guy, but I have to go with Superman on this one.
That's okay. I'll respect that. Any reason why?
Man of Steel. I mean,
He just wins everything.
He just wins everything, unfortunately. And I mean, unless it depends on I guess depends on where they are, and if Thor has some kryptonite on him, then I just don't see it happening.
There's always that.
There's always that.
There's always
if
the villain has. Yeah, that's how the only way you can beat Superman.
Yeah, it's just the unfortunate truth.
He's a little bit Mary Jane-ish, I gotta admit, but I'm okay with it because he's just like the classic superhero of America. You know,
if Thor was holding Superman's current girlfriend or whoever it is at the time in whatever lifespan at gunpoint or at hammer point, then I mean it just
Mjolnir point.
Exactly. Then I gotta go with Superman on that one.
All right. So continuing the superhero theme, if you had your choice of a superpower, what would you choose?
Ooh, I literally had a conversation with my buddy about this one a couple days ago, and
one of my favorite discussions.
So it ties in with Thor because of the fact that Thor doesn't actually fly. He's able to swing a hammer, and it carries his weight forever. And the idea of flying is a great superpower. Also going invisible. However, we talked about so many like useless, like, oh, like you be running and like grow a tree or something, like just I don't know, just random things. But I definitely think that our typical standard flying or super strength would be really cool, just to be able to pick up heavy things and I guess use it for, but if I know I'm going everywhere, but if I was honestly, if I was Mr. Manhattan or Dr. Manhattan, then I would be set. That would be like the ultimate superpower.
That's pretty epic.
Yeah, just that whole of itself. I wish that him, yes.
Just go chill on Mars and come back.
Yeah, just be able to not be a god, I guess, but like, be able to build and then like know and then be in multiple locations. Like that whole in itself is just like he flies, but it's kind of a chill float. But I mean, it's cool. I think I love that concept of a figure. I mean, he has no real emotions, just
he's so beyond that.
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
so over the emotions.
Exactly, and that's what I feel that are weaknesses towards superheroes and villains, that there's too many emotions that get in the way of their choices and decisions, and that's what I love about his character so much, is that he
always
knows.
True love.
Exactly.
My wife and I just rewatched pretty much all the MCU, and when we get to Infinity War, Peter Quill screws everything up, and we literally looked at each other and were like, it's all his fault. Like the glove came off the fingers.
Oh.
I never noticed that, but it did come off the hand.
Yeah, it came off.
And then Peter Quill is himself.
Yes.
And I'm like, it's all his fault that half the galaxy had to die.
Yeah. and it's all his fault Iron Man died. It's all his fault.
Yeah, it is. And he's got he don't even recognize that.
Gosh darn Chris Pratt.
It's like R2-D2 in Star Wars The Phantom Menace. It's all R2-D2's fault. If he didn't fix that shield deflector on that Naboo cruiser, the ship would have got exploded, little Annie would have died, and the galaxy would have been so much better.
Oh, 100%. But
that's my theory.
you have those small characters that just completely ruin everything based off of emotion. And but that's
or no emotion.
Or
no
fixing
emotion.
shield generators.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, that was a great sidetrack right there. That episode right there.
Done.
Dude, that would be a great episode. People who ruined everything. Oh my gosh. That'd be funny.
I'm on board.
It's also a mouse's fault that they were able to save the universe in Endgame.
Hint,
You know what I'm
hint,
talking
Mickey
about?
Mouse.
The mouse.
The mouse.
Yeah, the mouse turned on the quantum van.
To let Ant-Man out.
That's right.
Boom.
And
Thanks,
what
mouse.
are the odds that would happen when Disney now owns it? So now the
Ratatouille
mouse
just showed
saves.
up. Exactly.
Yeah.
Ratatouille decided to show up and save the world.
Step on that power button. All right, next random question. How do you feel about garden gnomes, Drew? What is your honest opinion?
Okay, so oh my god, they freak me out. So, other than the fact that I look like one, I can't. Okay, so
Not true.
well, minus the white beard, I have a dark brown beard. But if I in height comparison, so quick story. When I was living out in Los Angeles at one point, I lived like in a back house basically, and I had my own section, restroom, everything. It was like a small apartment.
Only costs like $3,000 a month, probably.
Only $3,000 a month. And so I lived back there, and I kept hearing this scratching in the back house. And so this episode just took a little turn. But so I kept hearing this scratching. I kept hearing this scratching, and I texted my buddy, my roommate who lived in the house, and I said, "Hey, can you and your girlfriend come out? I'm not going out, but can y'all come out and see what's scratching at the back door?" And he respond, "Garden gnomes." And and I was like, that's not funny. Like, that's not funny because like at the front of this house that we're living, the owner, the landlord, whatever, had like 100, not 100, maybe like 10 of these garden gnomes.
That's still excessive.
Yeah. So it's super scary. And so he was like, "Oh, those garden gnomes have come to life and they're scratching at the back door." And I was like, this isn't, no. So ever since then, I watched like these YouTube channels, like, you know, like conspiracies of like garden gnomes and how they, apparently they don't walk, they do like a slide, like a walking I'll have to send you all a video of apparently a real garden gnome, but they do like a golem slide kind of thing. And that's how they walk. And so that's all that I could picture was that these gnomes were in the back of my house digging their way into my room. So
Lord,
I hate them. They may have this look or this smile on their face, but it's all fake. It's a facade. It's not real. It's not real.
Totally a sham.
It's a front.
That question was a gold mine right there.
For real.
It was a perfect setup.
All right, that was just random, but it was perfect. Last random question. This will be hopefully much more lighthearted now that they got the creeps.
Reliving.
If you were shipwrecked on a deserted island and all your normal needs were met, food, water, shelter, that was all good. What one item would you insist on having with you?
Food, water, everything. That's actually a tough question because there's like I have like things that like my mom gave me, and like I love these things, and every time I look at it, it like brings me joy. So like there's like a photo of like my family, or there's also like socks, like like socks are like I sometimes wear socks to sleep, but there are small things like that. Let's see, a toothbrush. So if I had everything, like including toothbrush, everything like that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Sure. Why not?
Okay. So if I had
bamboo toothbrush.
If I had a toothbrush. Okay. Wow. That's then this. Yeah. It would definitely be a photo, like my family photo. I think that's pretty much it. Like it's just simple as
hanging
that.
on the palm tree next to you.
Yeah, just hanging on a palm tree next to me. Just
your hut.
Yeah, my hut with just a stapled, I don't know, something like from a crab claw just right on there. That's it. It's just simple as that. If I had everything else that I need, it would just be a photo of, my fam. So
that's great.
I wonder at what period of time that you would lose, like everybody in that photo, you would lose memory of what they sounded like.
That's sad. It's true though.
Yeah.
Dude, we talked about this on the podcast a while back. I think we were either talking about memory or something similar, but in the show Revolution, have y'all seen that?
Mm-hmm. I have not.
Do you know the gist of it? I don't know if you know about it.
Oh, yes. Is that the one that's like it came out several years ago, and it's like after World kind of thing? Yeah. And
yeah, exactly.
Okay,
so,
cool.
Right. So in the show, there's a character. I think it's like in the first few episodes. A mom character has been separated from her kids. Her kids were in Europe. She was in America on a trip, and the power went out. And 10 years later. So She has forgotten what her kids look like, which, you know, it sounds like, oh, what a terrible mom, but that's just a human brain. Like that's how things work. And what they sound like. And so there's a moment where they find this mysterious source of power, and it's like a wireless power unit. So it just powers everything around you. She's kept her phone with her for like years. And, you know, people are like, oh, seriously, you have that old thing with you? Like, we're never going to be able to turn that back on. It's not going to work. But she keeps it with her because it's the last like trace of her previous life, right? So that it turns on, and the background picture is her kids.
Oh,
and I'm just
wow.
like, oh,
That's right. That's right.
It's just, I'm a dad, so it's extra impacting on me because I'm like, dude, that's powerful right there. She sees her kids and she forgot what they look like.
I've always loved I know this is like sidetracking, but I've always loved the idea of like watching certain things with different people, like somebody who's in a relationship, somebody who's not in a relationship, somebody who's married, somebody who's married with kids,
Totally
somebody
different.
like there's so many different perspectives on all these things. And I just feel like some of those life experiences just completely change the idea of what you're watching.
Yeah.
So random sidetrack, but yeah.
Oh, that's good. Cool. Well, I'm done with my random stupid questions. It was very entertaining. Thank you. You did an A+.
Awesome.
Especially with the garden gnome, just kind of pushing over the edge.
I almost gave you enough on that one, but it was I changed my mind.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how freaked out are you about garden gnomes?
Oh gosh, we're going back to this.
No.
We're gonna go with like a 20.
Okay.
Now I'm at about a 10. I was about a 1 before, but
after the videos that I send you guys, you'll never look at garden gnomes the same.
Oh gosh. I'm gonna explain it away. Some mole was digging underground and it was moving. I have to rationalize a rabbit.
I don't know if I want to see those videos because my across the street neighbor looks like a garden gnome, so I'm good.
That's fun.
Oh, your actual neighbor looks like
he does. He's short, stocky, and looks like a garden gnome.
Hi-ho.
Pretty much. I'm waiting for that to happen. Speaking of singing, so you were in a boy band.
Dude, that was the best segue.
Yes. I was part of a boy band. I was part of a boy band for 10 years. So it was a boy-girl. It was a boy-girl band. We were called Savvy, and it started off actually like we were a church group actually. We would go to local churches and perform, and they had like an audition. About 400 people showed up, but the guy who started it out, he called me like super randomly, and back then I never answered the house phone. Like it was just like weird. I don't know. I just had a weird thing of answering the house phones. And so my mom, like she wasn't there, and my buddy was picking me up at the time. So I had been 14 years old, and I think we were going to go see a movie or something. And the phone rang and nobody was home. So I was like, all right, let me pick up the phone. And it was my friend who I've known because I used to dance. I started dancing when I was 5, maybe 6 years old. It started off as me just burning off, being ADHD, and so going to soccer practice and then just going dancing and making fun of the girls. But it turned into
you got sucked into it.
Exactly. And so that guy who trained me called me, and this, this is now 10 years later, cut to.
Wow.
And he's saying, hey man, I'm starting this band and I'm starting this group, and we're going to go touring the world, and I want you to be a part of it, this and that. And I was like, I haven't talked to you in 10 years, but sure. So the audition was happening in Houston, and he's like, you don't have to be part of the first round of group or the first audition, but you can come to the second round. I said, okay, cool. So we met halfway at the Buc-ee's in Luling, and he picked me up, and my mom dropped me off, and then we drove from there. And the next day, we had this audition, and I got picked out.
That's awesome.
And 2 weeks later, we had a full cast. It started off actually with 8 kids, so it was a lot of people in this band.
Yeah,
and
it's big.
Yeah, it was a really big boy girl band.
It's like a K-pop band, right?
Yeah, it was basically yeah.
Asians have huge bands.
We had literally like an army band, so it was just like okay, everybody had their strengths. We had the top-notch singer. I came on as a dancer, so I was lead dancer, and did the tapping, did the lyrical, did the modern jazz, like everything that was like kind of incorporated, and then slowly started picking up singing as we went along. Within 3 months, we went to Canada to record a an album called Road to Fame. You can actually find it on, I think you can still find it on Apple Music right now. And you can see
Nice.
me beardless, long hair. It's the most awkward,
Dancing.
awkward photo ever. But
Any music videos from that?
yeah,
I see you
yeah,
dancing.
tons of them. So if you type in like the wannabe starring Savvy, you'll find music videos galore. You will not recognize me,
Cool.
but eventually you'll be like, he's the short white guy. Okay, cool.
There's
Like
a gnome in there somewhere.
beardless me, and you'll find it.
Where's that beardless gnome? What years was that 10-year stretch of the band?
So it was from 2004 to 2014, and it was pretty much 10 years to the date. So
Wow.
yeah, we did the album, and I actually left the group. So after we did the album, there was just some people that I just didn't get along with, and I was like, I'm going to finish school, and so I did. And as I was going to finish up my first semester of college, I get a call from the manager, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to come back? And we're actually going to film a TV show." I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I left college, not without even thinking, and went up to Michigan. Went up to Michigan, yeah. And this was in 2008, 2009 when the big crash happened, and so it was kind of a perfect moment to go up there and have this opportunity. And what was so great about it is that we were actually able to provide over 250 jobs just for the television series alone. With all these people losing their jobs and everything, especially with the car industry in Detroit. So in that area, we were able to help out with that in the community. And because of what we did, the school itself actually went out. So there's like this like $7 million school that they just built, and we were able to rent it out and still keep the school going until they finally were able to get people back into the school. So
cool.
yeah, it was so random, but sidetrack. But anyways, we filmed 26 episodes.
Wow.
We did 2 seasons, and then it got picked up by different brands like ABC3 out in Australia, HBO or HBO Family in South America, Stars Kids and Family here in the States, and then other countries like randomly get like messages from like Israel or like Germany and say, "Are you the real Drew Reinartz?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's me."
We love you.
Yeah.
So what you're telling us is you're secretly famous overseas.
In really obscure places.
Secrets, yes. I guess secretly famous and like random. I mean, when we went to South Africa, and it was so strange because like I've never experienced like the idea of like being famous. And literally like we would get off like the bus, like we had our tour bus, and we went to Argentina, we went to Santiago, and we went to Buenos Aires, Santiago, and Lima, Peru. We would show up to these events and get off the bus, and it's like, psh, 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 oh my God. They're speaking Spanish, of course, and I speak no Spanish anymore. But it was crazy. It was so crazy to see, these fans and people, come together
Worshiping you.
I guess you could say that, but I just not even so much that, just appreciate and love the fact that we were in their country and they knew who we were. They knew our names, they knew our personalities. They asked questions based off the TV show, like when y'all did a specific scene, like what was so funny about it, like just random things like that. So it was like, wow, like these people watch us and they love us and they care about us, and I appreciate that. But yeah, after doing that for 10 years, we actually got signed to Cash Money Records. So Cash Money is like, at the time they had like Lil Wayne, Drake, Nicki Minaj, Kevin Rudolph, Jay Sean. They had just signed Busta Rhymes, with Limp Bizkit, Paris Hilton, stuff like that. They had just signed all these people.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, and
Bringing back memories I'd rather let go of.
yeah. So I know. Then they brought us on board, and it was cool. I mean, we were a part of this movement, and we got to work with a guy named Red One, who at the time was doing everything. He was literally the #1 music producer who worked with like Lady Gaga on her first album, Pitbull, Jennifer Lopez, Justin Bieber. Who we've met these people along the way. So it was like, wow, like I think back now, like, wow, like this was a really, really cool opportunity. And
do you currently do any music or performing?
So I don't do any music really anymore, which is unfortunate, but I do play the guitar here and there, whenever I'm sitting at home and I feel like I want to. I play the guitar a little bit, and I'll sing here and there. I've randomly decided to go like, to random bars and play just because like it's just fun. I like doing that. Eventually I do wish to be on the worship team just to extend my vocal range again and do
Yeah.
performance and eventually see where that leads me. So, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that I've always been passionate about, which kind of led me to creating content for people that love to see things. So, just kind of all over the place.
Yeah, so let's talk about the content creation. What do you do, I guess, at the church, and what are some of your things in that area?
Yeah, so as far as like just content creating, I with the band and with doing content with them and creation and ideas and completely like always having like a storyboard and everything, it kind of led me to wanting to do social media. I know how to push buttons, so I figured why not
Don't we all?
push the right buttons. So I started getting into how like you're sitting at home sometimes and you're like, how do I make money online? And I came across.
Oh, that's a rabbit hole right there. Be
Oh
careful.
yeah, I know. So I started looking up, like Tony Robbins and Gary Vee and Ty Lopez and Grant Cardone's and all these, influencers, and it led me to this idea that I wanted to be not a mentor, but an influencer. And then I was like, well, I don't want to be an influencer because I don't know if I'm saying the right things. Okay, so maybe I can follow influencers and give them a path and help them create themselves. And that's kind of what I led to with the acting. I've learned with like acting coaches and picking up personalities and understanding personalities and bringing them to life and helping people understand who they are as people, for the community and for themselves and what their message means, not just to themselves, but how are they going to reach, the people that they want to reach. So that became content creation, and that became running social media platforms, and also the YouTube channel that I currently run, which is called Culture Shock. And the idea is that we go around and go to different cities or hopefully countries soon. And Texas has a completely different vibe than what Boston or what California might have, and not a lot of people get out there enough to really experience these things. So whenever they are there, we provide that content like, hey, these are 10 things to do or 20 things to do while you're here. We're going to film it for you. And here you go. Go check it out.
Cool.
Maybe you can say, hey, Drew Reinartz was here and I love this idea, and
Yeah.
so that's definitely something that, I've wanted to bring to the public and people of, anybody can do this. We're at the time in our lives or not even our lives, but in, this lifetime that we can do anything. Like 20 years ago, you couldn't really do something like this so easy. I have a battery packed microphone that I can record, give you all guys the file and go away with it, and it's like, if you're not making something of yourself now, then, you're just sitting at home and not doing anything clearly, but
Big wasted opportunity.
exactly. And that's what I love about the idea of just content creation. Let them know that, there's so much more than that meets the eye now.
Yeah.
So you're talking about Culture Shock, you're talking about church media. What got you in like videography, photography?
When I was actually filming on the TV show, I'd always go to the director and ask him how he's placing his shots and, why he chose these, the positions and everything like that. What do certain things mean? Like, what does cowboy mean? What is medium shot? What's a tight shot? What's, when you're, crossing, I guess, like, what does the 180 mean? Or what is all these random things that they were using as far as terminology I wanted to know. But then I didn't realize that I really enjoyed it. I was asking questions just because like I was on set. What else was I going to do?
Yeah.
Just act, I guess. I don't know. But I later kind of figured that it was something that was fun. Of course, like it's a movement now. So many people are like, I'm a photographer, and they're not that great.
Yeah.
But one of my
Photographer.
yeah, exactly. And one of my closest friends, he directed a movie that I acted in, and he and I kind of kept in contact. And I'd ask him like photography questions randomly, just because I was curious. I never took it to the next level. I did buy a camera. At one point, it was a Sony A7, and it got stolen in Washington, D.C.
Oh, no.
And I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm not meant to be a photographer. So I took that as a sign and continued the acting thing. And then we came across each other and did the film. And then he said, hey man, like if you're ever interested in photography, like, let me know, and I'd love to help you out. And because he's like, I'm interested in acting, so maybe we can help each other out.
Mhm.
And so after we did the movie,
Cool.
it was like, okay, like, maybe we could do something with this. Maybe we can go further with this. And he was the director, I was the actor, and it turned out that we wanted to start something, which led into Culture Shock, which led into now me being a photographer, videographer, and content creator. And now he's an actor. So
Cool.
Nice.
yeah.
It's funny. I'll switch places.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, he still does like directing and everything and editing, and he still does his whole thing. And now he's just adding this to his repertoire and creating a personality for himself. And I've definitely asked him to do homework on other, comedians and stuff, and just creating himself and for the channel. And it's fun. It's fun to kind of see where this story takes us.
So what kind of stuff do y'all do on your YouTube channel?
So basically, we've done like restaurants. We've gone to restaurants and been like, they have this awesome menu, and we eat everything. We've also done like traveling. So right now we're actually doing like a part 1, part 2, part 3 of California. And we started in Los Angeles. We went to Chinatown. We went to downtown LA. Then we went to Santa Monica, and then we drove up to Pfeiffer Beach, which is just outside of Big Sur. And then we came back down to Santa Barbara, which we met up with another couple YouTuber, and
Cool.
and then we did like a quick thing with them, did an interview, and then we were out. But yeah, we're kind of all over the place. We just like to showcase like what there is to do if you're in this area. It's kind of just, the whole idea of like, wow, like that was, a lot of people, I don't know how often people say that was culture shocking, but it is something that is in our language sometimes, that whenever we are visiting something and you're having a conversation with people, it's like, wow, like, that was culture shocking, like going to New Orleans or going to Boston or going to an event, that typically you wouldn't have the opportunity to go to, but we try to cover as much as we can. So that way people have this opportunity to see what it's like to be a part of it, already know the knowledge, already know the language, already know what to ask for when they go, as opposed to just flying in blind, which is always fun. But we do that work for you, like, hey, like we had the opportunity to go here, and we've been now like attaching like descriptions, like when you go down this road, make a left, and
Cool.
watch out for the creepy guy, but he's probably there.
He's always there.
Yeah. So we try and bring that to the public and help them out with
Make
it.
sure you carry $5 to pass on to get the word.
Exactly.
Oh, Drew, what is your YouTube channel so our listeners can find you online?
So our YouTube channel is called Culture Shock TV, and is past tense.
Oh.
So ED. Yeah. Culture Shocked.
Culture Shocked.
Yeah.
Okay. And are you online anywhere else?
Yeah, so I have an Instagram. I have a Twitter, which I need to use more often, but my biggest platform is definitely Insta. And you can find me at it's Drew Reinartz with a Z, ITZ, and then Drew Reinartz. I started a beard Instagram, which I need to work on that more. It's called the Fun Size Bearded Guy.
Fun size.
Yeah, I started that one, and then I obviously now with photography, I feel like I need to start one of those, and I'm like, oh, what other Instagrams and stuff should I start? So it's like, oh God, like I need to find one thing and just kind of stick to it. But it's always fun to dive into different markets and ideas and stuff, and eventually I'm going to get tired of the beard, but it's fitting me well for now.
I think we should definitely invest in some cloning technology.
Seriously,
That'd be great.
I'm
Get a duplicate of us.
For real.
all up for that.
Unless you become competition with the other clone and they take on the same
Oh
industry.
gosh, and they take you out,
that's
and then you're gone.
Complicated.
That's it. Yeah, and then they do a whole
Then
lot.
there's a movie.
Yeah, and that's it. Then you're done. You
Will
can't.
Smith.
I don't know how he's still doing
Next
it.
thing you know, you're in a motorcycle chase and you're shooting at each other.
Oh god. You've hinted about stuff at the church media. How did you get involved with all that stuff?
I had been getting into social media and running social medias for small companies and stuff, but I had just actually quit my job that Nate and I worked at together prior to. So I had just quit that, and I showed up to the church, one day, and well, I mean, obviously going consistently. But Ian, who works at the church, he is the media director there. And I walked up to him and I said, hey, if y'all guys need any help with the media department, I would love to help out. I'm just kind of here, and I see that you guys, could use some people. And then he was like, yeah, sure, if you can come in next week, and we'll see where you fit. And
Cool.
so I showed up the next weekend, and it was kind of like, okay, this is what we do, this is how we do it, this is that, this is this and that. And I noticed that there was no like Facebook Live. I noticed that nobody was like
Mm.
posting anything or putting anything out. And I said, hey, what does the social media look like? And he goes, non-existent. And I was like, perfect.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I was like, well, great. I would love to at least, help out in the social media department, first and foremost, let's get that going. And he's like, okay, sure. And, I spoke to some of the pastors and, who had all the logins, and they were like, yeah, we don't know how to do this. And I was like, great. I'm
Oh my gosh.
glad I'm here. Let's make this happen. So I spoke to them about it, kind of getting, my feet wet with that. And we were back and forth because of the campus in South Africa, which they had all of the information. So I was like, hey guys, why don't y'all send that all my way, and maybe we could see what we could do here. So that social media led into the photography, social media led into the videography, social media led into, hey, do you mind staying a little bit later and helping us pick this up and move it over here? And then led into, hey, do you mind? So it's definitely led to a lot of opportunity at the church, but it's been a lot. It's been a really fun experience, and I've definitely learned a lot from the media director and Nate. Actually, he's shown me some tricks or two on audio, and it's been fun. It's growing pains, but
He knows a thing or two.
he knows a thing or two.
Maybe just
Yeah.
Just
two.
two.
I feel bad. I feel like I know a lot of stuff, but I won't push it on anybody. And they're like, "How the freak do you know that?" I'm like, "Oh, sorry, buddy. I've known that for a couple months. I should have told you."
Or they'll say, why didn't you tell me? Or like, well, do you want me to just tell you everything I know? Because I just bog you down with all of my knowledge. I know
Right.
too much.
Exactly. He
Can't tell
knows
you
too
everything.
much. But yeah, so I mean, but it's been fun. I mean, running the social media and helping create content as much as possible, and just getting that for the church has just been a lot of fun. And I, obviously learning learning a lot just about church in general, and everything that comes with it. It's just been a lot of fun. So
Yeah, it's not for the
Cool.
faint of heart.
yeah,
No.
it's not. It's not for the weak.
No.
Ministry of any kind is not,
Yeah.
just jump in. Oh, yeah, this will be fun. I'll be popular.
No.
I was a media pastor or director and the young adults pastor for 2 years at a large church down in the valley. And, when I signed up to be a pastor, I didn't realize my first chore of every day will be cleaning the pool in the back of the church.
Oh, fun.
So that was my podcast time, and it was great. But yeah, that's just plot twist,
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
The plot
for sure.
Ministry's hard work.
the plot thickens.
Your title in ministry is just to get you paid or volunteered, so you know what you're supposed to be doing, but that doesn't mean that's what you're going to do.
Oh man,
No, that doesn't mean you're actually going to be doing that at all.
It just gives you a
Yeah.
title to throw around, but at the same time, your title also means you're cleaning up stuff and rearranging and being extra help and volunteer.
Yeah, people ask what I do
Yeah.
at the church, and I say I show up.
everything.
Pretty much.
See that thing over there? I did that. See the thing online? I did that too.
Yeah, exactly.
So Drew, you've done a lot. You got your fingers in a lot of pies, as I like to say. So let me ask you this: what are some of your big dreams or big goals for the future? Say 5-10 years. Like, where would you like to be?
I do want to open up my own. I will be opening up my own entertainment brand for media, for photographers, for videographers, and not just on top of that, an actual theater. My lady, she is a dance teacher at the Woodlawn Theater here in town, and she teaches theater and singing and acting and all these other things. And her and I have talked about it multiple times on how we can, join forces. And we've definitely already talked about an arts academy where people can do film, do acting, do dancing, but then tie it all together. So, people would do their own courses and take their classes and put all these things together that they truly want to be a part of. But then we would mix it up. Hey, these people have to change positions, so on and so forth. They would, basically help each other out. But then at the end of every semester, they all work together to create a film or to create a production or to create something as a team. And that's something that I've been just wanting to do for the public in general. But I just feel that there's so many brands that put out there that they're like, oh, well, you do one thing and then you film that one thing, that's it. But I don't feel that many students have been given an opportunity to really work with other departments, and put together something of their own and be proud of this project, from something that they've been learning throughout this whole time period. So that's something that we want to do for in general. So that's, starting a media company, but then also having, jobs for, photographers or, people who want to do video, anything like that. Just send them out to the streets and get some work under their skin, and also eventually becoming an agency for even acting, or an agency for all these other things. So we there's a lot that comes not just with media, but an agency for people who want to do art in general of any kind. So that's definitely something that I've been wanting to do, and working towards. So
very cool. I like it.
Yeah. Maybe do a Savvy reunion tour. So that's
oh my gosh.
We're all 45 years old, and it'll be fun.
Like the Backstreet Boys.
Exactly. They went from the boy band ZZ Top with the beard.
Exactly. That's what we're looking for.
No one will recognize you. Who are these guys? That's funny.
And like a tour, you have like old pictures and like that's them. Oh, well.
That's not them.
Imposters.
So you've said it a couple times, but let everybody know where they can find you on your social media.
Social media, I just always say Instagram, just because it's my biggest platform, or TikTok. I am a TikToker.
You're so hip.
I am so cool. Hip, so cool. Staying with the times. I'm gonna be the 90-year-old guy that's just like, I don't care.
I'm hip.
All social media platforms are It's Drew Reinartz, ITZ, Drew Reinartz. If you can't spell my last name, don't bother looking me up. But
ooh, ouch!
Right?
It'll be in the episode name.
No, but yeah, it's fun, and I just do random posts, and I'll put out beard stuff. I'll put out daily motivation stuff. Just talking about what's going on in the day and what's happening, and just keeping it fun. And I'm just a person that's here to have fun on planet Earth. That's really it.
Yeah, right.
So
great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being on the show with us. I think it was a pretty fun one.
Yeah,
definitely some good laughs.
Yeah, definitely. And I appreciate you guys having me on.
Definitely won't be the last.
Well, if anyone out there has any other questions for Drew, if you're a super fan from Australia or Africa or America, I don't know, you can send it his way. Not send it to us, because I don't know.
We won't answer.
Or if you have maybe some fan fiction about garden gnomes, maybe some horror fan fiction.
Love it. Conspiracies.
Super niche.
Yeah. All about conspiracies. Send them my way.
Gnome conspiracies.
Yes.
Oh man, you like conspiracy theories?
Love conspiracy theories.
Oh boy. Well, we've got some good ones on the list already, but we plan on doing some more.
Oh, bring it on.
Be a perfect fit.
Yeah, we talked about flat Earth and Illuminati and something else.
Don't get me started on Illuminati. That's one that's like that. We'll probably be on this call for 2 hours. I'm about that.
Well, that was the one that I picked for the episode. We did a part 1 and part 2, and after doing the Illuminati stuff, I wasn't too impressed, and I was actually kind of regretting that I didn't go with the Masons, because I feel like the Freemasons are more juicy than the Illuminati
absolutely
stuff. Well, next time we do another conspiracy theory episode, I want it to be an ongoing, like maybe every season we'll do a new one, and we'll just get to rant and rave about our favorite or least favorite theories. We'll keep you in mind. I got a few people on the list for these, so
let me know.
All right. Well, thanks again, and you have a great week, Drew.
You too, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Later.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Hope you're staying safe out there, and we'll be with you next week. If you like this show, be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast app. You can also find our previous episodes there and listen whenever you want. We love to hear from our listeners, so if you have any comments or suggestions for future episodes, you can reach us at tvvpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening and have a great week. What's the name of the episode? I wrote it down. Brain fart.
Everybody in their underpants. Everybody in their underpants.
Here are my nuts. Okay.